All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's live stream. So tonight I want to show you my plans for Bitcoin. I want to talk about altcoins, and I'm also going to show you my plans for the forex market. So basically, this is what I'm doing on a weekly basis. Every Saturday evening or Sunday evening, I take a look at the market to do my own trade planning for the trades I'm going to take in the days to come, basically next week. And I figured I'm going to try to make this a habit, make this a routine to have a weekly webinar where I basically just take you along my own, I'll let you inside my own trading life when I do my weekly weekly analysis and my own planning. I will from time to time also do some journal review. I'm thinking I might do that today as well. I'm gonna look at some winners from last week and some losers from last week, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. So yeah, let's get into the shot. Let's run an intro first. So right after the intro, we're gonna take a look at Bitcoin. By the way, guys, this live today is sponsored by crypto.com. You probably already know all about them because they're probably, pretty much everywhere. Check out the link in the description below. If you sign up using that link and the code given in the description below, you will be given $50 in CRO deposited into your trading account on the exchange. And it's a pretty cool exchange, actually. One thing that's pretty cool is you can get up to a 50% discount on newly listed token, and you'll get daily rewards for only, being a member of the exchange. So definitely worth checking out. It's pretty much free money, so check that out. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't hit that like button, please do. It's going to help me and the channel a lot to kind of activate that YouTube algo or not, doesn't really matter. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here, all right? So we have a pretty decent bounce here right in the middle of the RLC, the reload zone, which comes in right here at around 40, let's say 41K. It's slightly above, it's around 41.2, but very, very close, right? And we talked about this perhaps yesterday or the day before. I posted on Twitter saying that because of the fact that Bitcoin is really at the like the make it or break it moment, right? It's a very, very important level right here, right? Right on the midpoint of the reload zone, the 0.702 level. It's a very important level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce here, right? And we're watching the daily right now. I'm thinking we're most likely going to see a decent bounce here, but the important thing is for Bitcoin to reclaim the area around 45K, where we have the weekly 50 EMA. If you go down to the 4-hour, you will see that it's also the area where we broke the range lows, basically where we exit the previous range, right? So very, very important that we reclaim this area if we're going to have any chance of regaining a bullish market structure, right? You can kind of see here why it's such an important area. It's not only in the right in the middle of the reload zone, it's a pretty significant support area on the higher time frames, and it's the area where if broken to the downside, it will create a lower low. Now it kind of looks like a massive range, and it doesn't really matter if we range between this area and these 64K highs or whatever. We could still be trading this as a trend trader, right? So a lot of people say that, well, if we do enter a range here, I don't think that's what's going to happen, right? But I've seen a lot of people talk about on the Twitter the possibility of entering a high time frame range for a while, and it doesn't really matter if we have a range this big. It's still very possible to trade that as a trend trader, right? What you could do in that case is, I mean, if this is going to be range highs, right, and we reclaim the 618 level, that would mean we reclaim the daily 20 EMA, and when we reclaim the 50%, we're going to be reclaiming the daily 50. I mean, we first reclaim the daily 20 EMA, and then if we reclaim the 50%, we're going to reclaim the daily 50 EMA. So we're going to be above the daily 20 and 50 EMA, and that's one of my rules for going long. I can only go long on an asset that is above the 20 and 50 EMA on the daily. So if we reclaim this level, I would then be looking at a 4-hour bullish trend, and I would look at the 20 and 50 EMA on the 4-hour. So it's still very, very possible to enter some really decent longs from this area up to the all-time highs, right? As a trend trader, you just go down, into the lower time frames, and you check the 4-hour instead of the higher time frames, right? And same thing goes, in reverse. I mean, if you hit this level, you could expect a move lower down to the, I don't know, the range EQ, which could be looking something like this. This would be the range, something like that. You could get rejected at the range highs. You would then wait for price to get below the daily 50 EMA and the daily 20 EMA, like what happened here, and you would then start shorting the 4-hour trend. So a lot of people say, if we do enter this range, it's going to be very hard to trade, and it's going to be impossible to trade as a trend trader. But the bigger the range is, the easier it is to trade it as a trend trader on the lower time frames. The problem comes when the range is tight, like this one right here, right? So when you have a range that's this tight, it's going to be very hard to trade this range as a trend trader using a system like mine, because if you're only looking for shorts when price is below the daily 20 and daily 50, you're not going to be able to go long inside this trend, basically, because this range, because it's too tight to make a difference on the daily moving averages. If this range continues for long enough, the daily EMAs, the 20 and 50, they're just going to be crisscrossing each other. So it's going to be very hard to trade. That's why when you have a range like this, I always wait for the breakup range lows or the breakup range highs. Now, why am I not shorting this? Well, it's a very simple thing. The only single reason why I'm not shorting this is because of this trend, right? What's the higher time frames doing? Well, the higher time frames are, well, at least at this point, creating a low, higher low, a high, and a higher high. I view this as a possible uptrend still, because we haven't really broken these lows yet. Now, if we create a low here, we have a lower low, right? What we have right now is equal lows, and it's not really confirmed bear market. It's not a confirmed bearish trend on the macro scale yet. Only on the secondary trend, the local trend is still quite bearish, but on the bigger scale, it's not very bearish. So I'm not looking for shorts until we kind of break this area down here. That's when I would be looking for shorts. So no shorts, right? Without seeing invalidation of the higher time frame bull trend. But when are we going long? Well, like I said, one of my rules for trading any assets is I can only go short if price is below the daily 20 and 50 EMA, and I can only go long if price is above the daily 20 and 50 EMA, preferably having the daily EMA, the 20 EMA in a daily above the 50 EMA in a daily. So with that logic, we need to see first a reclaim of the weekly 50 EMA, and that's going to be confluent with the 20 EMA in a daily. That means we enter the previous range, right? But it's still not where I want to long. I can only long when we reclaim the daily 50 EMA, right? Because then price is above the daily moving averages, right? So looking at a price action, it would make sense to see something like this. Now, imagine if that is a high, we have a low somewhere here, a high, a low, a high, a low, right? Now, a shift in market structure would be something like this, right? This would not be a shift in market structure because that is a lower high. But if we reclaim this area, that would be the first sign of a bullish break in market structure by printing a higher low, right? And we would then most likely see something like this. And this is where I want to go long. I don't want to go long here. I don't want to go long here. I want to go long on the break and retest of the confirmation of the bullish daily structure being bullish above the daily 50 EMA. So you could imagine seeing the daily 20 EMA maybe moving like this, and the daily 50 EMA perhaps moving like this, while price is reclaiming. I would then want to see, something like this, and price kind of bouncing off the daily 50. That's where I will start looking for longs. So actually what I'm doing here is I'm obviously looking at the higher time frames for Bitcoin to confirm my bullish bias. Well, I'm not really bullish bias or bearish bias. I don't really care about biases. I'm just trying to figure out what do I want to see for my system to be able to provide me with an entry trigger to go long, because I'm not allowed to go short as long as the higher time frames are bullish, just like they are right now, even though it's looking quite bearish. So something like this is what I'm waiting for to happen on Bitcoin. Very, very simple. It's just a matter of waiting at this point. So that's on the daily. Now let's go down to the 4 hour to see if we see anything interesting. And we have definitely something interesting going on here on the 4 hour, where this is a highly likely a local bottom, right? You can clearly see that we are about to see some type of break in market structure on the lower time frames. This is on the hourly, right, where you have a downtrend kind of going like this, and you see lower lows and lower highs. You have equal lows right here. You have a resistance area right here, and if you can reclaim this level right here, you have a bullish break in market structure, right? You see a downtrend. Actually, that downtrend is going all the way up here and extending here on the dump. And if you see something like this, well, that would be a bullish break in market structures. You have a higher high, high low. The trend is probably going to be bullish up to the 45K area, the area between 45K and 46K, which is the previous range low. So this will most likely be heavy resistance. And if I am going to trade this, which I'm not going to do, but if I would be trading this, let's see if the 4-hour moving average makes sense. Well, it kind of does, right? So we're reclaiming the 4-hour 20 EMA here, which is a good thing. But it's the 4-hour 50, which would kind of confirm. And then if we reclaim the 4-hour 50, we're too close to resistance. The risk reward isn't really great. But if I would be trading this, I would be trading this using the 1-hour EMAs. I would be using the 1-hour 2050 and 100. So let's remove some stuff here. So 2050 100, 2050 100. Yeah. So what I would be doing here on the 1 hour is I would wait for the yellow 20 to cross above the green 50, and I would then want to see the yellow 20, the green 50 above the blue 100 EMA on the 1 hour. And I would like to see something like this, right? I would like to see the 100 going like this, 20 maybe here, and 50, and perhaps I don't think it's gonna be possible to see the 20 and 50 cross the 100 that soon. Maybe the 20, the 50 would probably be somewhere here. I would then want to see a retest of these 3 moving averages confluent with this support area. I would then probably go long here, stops down in this region, and profit would be up here. And I guess that trade would be around 1.5, which is definitely acceptable. So yeah, something like this, a 1.5 trade. So we're talking about a scalpish trade, right? We're talking about a 5% move here. That's how I would trade this move right here. Seeing how this happens on a Sunday makes me a bit nervous. I would like to see this development right here happening tomorrow. And the fact that this is happening on the 1 hour, it kind of worries me. It might happen too quickly, But if I wake up tomorrow, let's say I'm at my desk at 7 in the morning or something like that, if we can see a rounded retest on the 1 hour and we see the moving averages kind of develop like this, and we see that hitting that level in confluence with a 1 hour bullish engulfing with a 1 hour stochastics bull cross below 30, we have a setup, right? We have a setup. But I don't really trade the 1 hour. I'm just showing you if I would trade in 1 hour, which I'm not going to do. This is how I would trade that. It's basically just the same system I'm using on a daily and the 4 hour, just kind of translate it into the lower time frames to the 1 hour, right? I'm definitely going to keep tabs on this setup and see how it develops tomorrow. But for now, this is what I'm thinking. And my next trade on Bitcoin is not going to be. I'm probably not going to take a trade on Bitcoin next week. However, if we see a bounce here, we might find an altcoin which is above the daily 20 and 50 EMA, and that might be a good setup. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to go into the altcoin market first. I'm going to see if we have any comments that I want to answer. All right. I'm sorry. I thought you were crazy saying sell last month. Yeah, I did tell you guys to sell. Now, well, no, I didn't sell, and I'm not going to be the asshole who says like I predicted this, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Really, I have no idea what price will do. Like nobody knows. Nobody knows shit. You know, that's the bottom line. Nobody knows what's going to happen. If somebody tells you they think they know what Bitcoin is going to do, unfollow is my recommendation, because nobody knows. Nobody knows. But I had a plan, and I had a very strict plan, which was I sell Bitcoin if we lose a daily 50, which we did here, right? And I've been bearish ever since. I have not taken a trade on Bitcoin since exiting up here. Why? Well, because my rule says do not long an asset which is below the daily 20 and 50 EMA. All right. Simple as that. So where I'm going to long? Well, if we're equaling daily 50 and 20 EMA, and if the 20 and 50 EMA is like if it's a daily bullish trend, right? That's it. How do you and where do you input your trade journal? I use a trade journal called Edgewonk, which is a fantastic trade journal. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I wish I were, because they're really good. Edgewonk, fantastic trading journal, have helped me define my edge very, very nicely, especially in the forex market. I became profitable in the forex market in 6 months, which would probably take me years without that journal. So highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Right. When moon, well, reclaim daily 50, and you might see something. That's it. You know. Edgewonk, yes, exactly, Edgewonk. So now let's go into the altcoin market, and what we're gonna do right now is focus, because I keep on forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing, saying. What the fuck? Yeah, okay, FTX perp. I'm gonna do a very quick scan of the altcoin market. By the way, guys, I don't know if this was on a live stream or a webinar, but this is a good example of a setup where we had a live stream, right? So we had a live stream where I said, you know, and this is so simple. This is so simple, right? What are you seeing right here? Well, you're seeing Atom being above the daily 50 and the daily 20 EMA. You have a 4-hour trend. You have the 20 EMA and the 4-hour, the 50 EMA and the 4-hour. You have the weekly open right here. And all I said was, like, if we bounce here, you should probably buy here and sell the local top. So what happened here was we came down, we hit that level right there, and we printed a 4-hour bullish engulfing, 4-hour stochastics RSI bull cross. Now this is a late entry, but just having blind orders here would have worked out perfectly. When you have a confluence area like this, and especially when you have the reload zone as well, so you can add a reload zone right here. You will see that the reload zone is right here. When you have this type of confluence, where you have a 4-hour trend, you have the 20 to 50 EMA, you have the reload zone, you have the weekly open, you have a horizontal level, and stochastics RSI in the oversold territory, you want to buy this. I mean, the probability of seeing continuation move to the upside is almost like it's almost guaranteed. It's so powerful. It's so powerful when you have this type of confluence. And even entering on that 4-hour candle close will probably have made you some profits here, right? So this would be a obviously small winner, but the win rate on these setups are quite good. Now, hopefully, it's not going to be embarrassing enough to hit my stop and then reverse, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. So you see, it's almost So hit these highs, right? So a trade like this, you might be looking at this and saying like, well, 1.35 R, that's nothing, right? But given the win rate of a setup like this, when everything aligns, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So watch this. Watch this relationship. When I give you guys a setup like this, understand that the probability of this working out is actually quite high. I mean, of course, you should always manage risk, always take 1% per 1% risk per trade and all that. But the win rate is when everything lines up, it's closer to 70%. So it's very good. So a 70% win rate, you only really need like you can take 1 hour trades, you know. So the risk reward on the trades doesn't have to be too big, and that's actually something I figured out by going through my journal last couple of months. Is I've seen that I'm being way too greedy. I'm waiting for way too high targets, right? I'm looking at trades that are like up to 5R on average, right? Or you know, between 3 to 5R on average, which is just way too big. So what I've done now is I've trying to be much more conservative in my profit taking, and I'm looking at trades which are closer to closer to 2R, even 1.5, and I'm way more profitable. Like I'm much more profitable. Like last week, let's see. Yeah, okay. So last week, 60% win rate, 5% profit in a week. Now, my monthly profit is somewhere between 5 and 10%. I did that last week by only taking 5 trades, and the average R is 1. All right, the average R is 1. So a couple of months ago, I looked at trades which had average R of 3 to 5, and I wasn't even close to being as profitable. So lower targets, higher profitability. It might not make a lot of sense, but it does. And this is why, you know, having a journal and going through your journal and learning how you should trade your own system and which risk management style you should be using, it's very, very important. Now let's do a very quick market scan here. So if you're a member of the Birb list, you know that I do my market scans quite quickly, and I do them on the daily. And I only really look for bullish market structure on the daily. I look for strength, right? I look for strength. 1 inch below the daily 20 and 50 minutes. I'm not interested. So I'm just going to go through this quickly, see if we find anything that is slightly interesting, right? And we want to go long because Bitcoin. I don't want to short altcoins while I want to be longing long in Bitcoin, right? So let's see if we have anything here. So I'm trading on FTX, which means I'm going through the perpetual futures contracts on FTX. I have a list here with all the pairs on FTX, and my market scan, I do it once or twice a week. It's quite quick. You don't really need to spend more than 10 minutes scanning the markets and finding decent setups. And if you're a swing trader, you shouldn't really spend that much time. Whoa, Ethereum looks absolutely terrible. I haven't checked Ethereum in quite some time. Never mind. Right, so bear with me here. It's not going to take too long. FTM looks really good. FTM looks great. And if you're having any short requests, I'm going to save them for later, but chances are if they're not on this list, I'm probably not going to look at them. I might, if I have the time, I'll take a look at them. So we're going to go through the altcoin market quickly, and then we're going to transition over to the Forex market, where I'm most active at this point, because there's just not a lot of super good setups in crypto for me to take at this point. There's a couple of scalps here and there, but it's not. I'm not really liking it. For me, a part of my edge, I would definitely say, is the ability to know when not to trade, and especially I know when I shouldn't be trading. You know, I know when I shouldn't be trading altcoins and Bitcoin. I know when I shouldn't be trading crypto. So when I shouldn't be trading crypto, I'm focused on the forex market, right? Because in the forex market you have lots of different correlations and very different uh, different markets, right? Which not every single one is correlated, right? Which crypto is, right? Everything in crypto is correlated to Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin is a heavily risk-on asset, which kind of follows the risk on and off narrative for the legacy markets, right? So when crypto is not giving me favorable setups, it's just not really doesn't really make any sense for me to trade it. That's why I'm not in. I don't have any crypto. I don't own any crypto at this point. I don't have any Bitcoin or any altcoins. No long-term holdings. No spot holdings. And I don't really trade that way. I only really look at short-term trading. That's where I make my money. Let's do a quick scan again of the green list to see if we find anything that should be removed. And when we have a complete list, I will probably link this. Yeah, you can trade this right in the 1 minute. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can. I'll definitely show you something interesting on the like. Yeah, so what you can do. Well, 1 minute. Who the fuck trades on 1 minute anyway? You probably shouldn't be trading on 1 minute. You should probably looking at like 1 hour 50 minutes. I the reason for me to remove some of these coins are because if they're below the daily 20 and 50 EMA, and it's not a bullish market structure. So right here you see low, higher low, higher low, high, higher high, higher high, lower high, equal lows below the daily moving averages. This is not, it's just not bullish, you know. So I'm removing sand from the list. You get Matic, which is actually, you know, it's so this is interesting, right? It's below the daily 20 and the daily 50, but here is a good example of where market structure takes priority, right? Where market structure takes priority. It's a bullish market structure, and the something very important to remember here is also the relationship of market structure. What's the behavior? What's the behavior of market structure, and um, what's the relationship between price action and the moving averages? And here you can see that price very often dips below the daily 50 EMA, even in an uptrend. So here you get it. You got to kind of, you can't follow your system perfectly. You have to kind of adapt to whatever pair you're watching. So Matic stays on the list. EGLD obviously breaking down bearish market structure. Remove that one. BAT is just not looking good. Altcoin Perp I'm just having on the list because it's interesting to watch, and this is a good example of altcoins might not look that well. On the other hand, the altcoin index is mostly, I mean, a lot of this is Ethereum, right? And Ethereum follows Bitcoin like everything else. So this is obviously down. HT, removing that one. Got DOT, removing that one. And Kava, whatever, it's above the moving average. Bearish market structure is not looking too long, but it's above the moving average. All right. So this is the list. I will be sharing this on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, definitely go do that if you want. I'm at Libs42, as you probably know. So I will be sharing if I do see a setup on this later today. I will be sharing setups on this in the Discord, in the Business Discord, and probably on some of the setups will be shared on Twitter as well. So let's see if we can. So what would be the idea here? Well, so the idea on Alchemix or ALCX here is we need to see this basically. So we need to see a bullish market structure forming here. We need to see the reclaim of the daily 20 and 50 EMA. So I would probably go long somewhere here or slightly higher. So I have this on my list, but no setup, right? We got near. I don't know. Near looks interesting, but no setup at this point. Link, well, Link actually looks fantastic, and I'm, I really wanted to take a trade on this, but this kind of, why should I add harmony? Yeah, I probably should. You're absolutely right about that. Harmony actually looks pretty good. But Link, I wanted to go long on this. You can clearly see there's a bullish break in the market structure here, reclaiming the daily moving average in a significant level. You can have like a daily W here, but it was hard getting in on this. Really, it was really hard getting in on this because the invalidation level of this trend would be like down here. So I don't know. It's very choppy here. This whole area right here, very hard to trade. So when I have an idea which overall plays out, but there's no clear entry triggers. There's just a lot of choppiness, and there's no clear invalidation level. For me, it's just better to let it go. It's just better to let it go and wait for something else to appear and be more clear. I think it's much better not to trade than to take setups which are you're not really sure about. So that's one I'm definitely watching going forward is Link. Atom, well, I gotta be honest, guys. Everything is just it's a very hard market conditions to trade here. I don't know a lot of traders who are successful at trading this market right now. So if you're chasing setups and you're trying to find setups here, understand that most professional traders in this market, are not trading right now. All right. So I don't know a single trader who trades with trades full time, which is are actively trading this market. Perhaps some scalpers. I don't know a lot of scalpers, but this is a very hard market to trade right now. So don't be discouraged if you're losing trades. Right? Understand that I haven't taken a trade in crypto for a very long time. Only very small risk trades here and there, but I've like very very small exposure. It's a very hard market. Atom, what I want to see on Atom is a reclaim of the 38 area and then start the trend. So this would be a start, right? And I would probably go long somewhere here on the bounce of the 20 EMA 4 hours, something like that. So that's Atom. FTM also looks pretty decent, but it's the same here. It's very. We need to see this level get reclaimed as well. So we need to see the daily 20 and 50 EMA get reclaimed and then start a trend. And same thing goes here. I want to see a clearly defined trend before going long. Now this has nothing to do with liquidity. This has more to do with the fact that it's a very hard market to trade and it's much more riskier to trade. But I need to follow my system. So if I get an entry trigger, I take that trade, no matter what. But depending on the current market conditions, I might be taking that with lower risk, especially in the crypto market. In the forex market, it's always 1% per trade, no matter what, because like it's different. But in current conditions for crypto, it's just the fact that I want to be in a trade, which is not a good thing, right? But I can't be sitting on my hands for 6 months. I need to do something, and the probability and the edge is still there. So I take, but the win rate is lower. The win rate is lower in a condition like this. So I take lower risk per trade, and when you do that, it's important to keep a moon bag or let it run so that the lower risk could be worth your while, But it's if I'm gonna be honest, the best thing to do for me is not trade crypto at all in these current market conditions. I think it's more, it's I think it has to do more with psychology than anything else. It's the feeling of having to be in a trade. So to kind of take care of that feeling, I do take a trade, but with low risk. But truth is, I should probably not take a trade at all. So it has nothing to do with liquidity. Right. So that's FTM. We got Luna. Luna is looking fantastic actually, but I still need to see a reclaim of the daily of the 4 hour 20 and 50 MA. So I need to start seeing a trend here. I need to see a reclaim of the 83 or 84 area before I start going long. Wi-Fi is looking pretty good, but it's very choppy, no clear direction. I need to see a clearly defined range here. I mean trend. I could definitely see a long being taken from this area up here. Not sure how, but going long around 36k up to 40k looks like a decent opportunity. Just not sure how that's gonna play out, but I'll keep monitoring that. Kava is looking pretty good. It's reclaimed the daily moving average, reclaimed the 4 hour 50, but it's very choppy, no clear sense of direction. So really, I don't know. It's just very hard to read this market right now, honestly. Matic, somewhat bullish market structure, but it needs to reclaim. Honestly, I think it needs to reclaim like $2.5. One, looking decent, but also very choppy, no clear range. We need to see a breakout here, probably on a daily. Yeah, you can see it's all wicks above, all fake outs and wicks. We need to see a proper reclaim of this area, daily open and close above, retest of this area, and then a continuation to the upside. So that's something I'm watching on one. All right, so that's the altcoin market and that's Bitcoin. Let's go over to the forex market and do some trade planning. All right, so the way I trade the way I scan the forex market is I go through this. I go to my orange list, and these are coins which I've selected as high probability of providing me with a setup in the next coming days. So on this scan, I'll be removing everything from the orange list, and I'll go into my watch list for the forex market. And we also have commodities and indices here. So we start with AUD CAD, and it's just going to be a quick scan. I do this on a 4 hour. So do I want to trade this next week? Am I seeing something playing out in the next few days? Yes, I am seeing something play out here. I'm not going to look at fundamentals. Fundamentals I look at on Monday morning when I go through the news. I look at. Honestly, I've just recently started looking at fundamentals in forex market. I'm a 100% tier trader, so fundamentals is something I've decided to try to master this year. But I'm slowly but surely starting to find confidence with my setup. So it's not really something I look at too much. But yeah, AD CAD definitely seeing a possible rejection at this area right here. So that would be a short. So I'm adding that to the orange list because it's a possible setup. Same here. Definitely be interested in shorting this. Man, I closed this trade on Friday before the market's closing. So this is definitely interesting to short again. Not sure where or how, but definitely keeping that on the orange list. ADJPY. Oh man, I don't know. Nope, not adding this. I'm adding alerts instead. Alerts here and there. AD and CD. I got one alert here and another alert down here. Yeah, that's good. Probably add one more here. AD USD. I think USD like you. I have a thread you guys should read. I've linked that in my channel. It's this one right here. You should absolutely read this thread, right? I will link it in the YouTube chat. Check out that one. Very important. Very important to read that one. Highly recommend it. And it's going to give you guys some ideas on what to expect if the market, if the Fed really turns very hawkish and the market turns bearish. Very important to read. And with that said, I do believe if everything plays out like you will read in that thread, the USD is going to become much stronger long term this year, most likely. So gotta be like right now USD has been fairly weak, and I've been shorting. I've been longing a lot of altcoins versus USD, but now I think it's time to start looking at pairs to short versus USD, like AD USD, for example, here. So I'm adding that to the orange list. CAD CHF, definitely adding this to orange list. This is a long, absolutely. CAD JPY. Not sure about JPY pairs, but this one looks promising, so adding that to the green list. CHF JPY, not really sure about this one, but I'm adding some alerts here. Not adding this to orange list. I don't know what you mean. Of course, fundamentals. Like, guys, remember, TA is nothing without fundamentals. Fundamentals move the markets. Fundamentals move the market. You can trade using only TA. You can trade using only fundamentals, and you can trade with a mix of both. But don't get it mixed. I mean, fundamentals are the reason markets move. TA is very, very good at finding where the reversals are going to happen. You know, if you have bullish news or bearish news, technical analysis are able to find areas in the chart where the bullish or bearish news will have greatest effect, right? With looking at what's what's probable, and looking at trends and all that kind of stuff, and seeing patterns. It's basically just a patterns recognition game, right? Euro AD, orange list. Euro CAD, seeing something. This is orange list. Euro CHF can't really be trading this. Euro GBP, not sure, but I'm going to be monitoring that one. Euro JPY, definitely orange list. Euro NCD, not sure. Euro USD, well, yeah, could have had it on the list. GBP AUD, well, pretty pissed I never got that retest, because this really did start to run. This is definitely, we're in long territory on this one. GBP CAD looking for longs. GBP CHF looking for longs. GBP JPY long. GBP has been extremely strong. GBP NCD long. NCD CAD short. NCD CHF nothing. NCD JPY nothing. Short. Not sure. Probably nothing. Long. Rather, silver is a short. Gold is a short. Oil. This was a beautiful trade last week. Unfortunately, we never got the retest to enter the setup on the Birb nest, but I actually did market buy this one. But anyway, this is a long. This is a long, so long oil. But then again, long. I mean, oil. Going long in oil usually works best in a risk-on environment. So we got to see how that how that works. But I've also read a lot about how COVID is not like. There's still going to be a lot. There's still going to be a lot of demand for oil. So when COVID first came along, we had a COVID crash. The demand for there was definitely supply and demand breakdown on oil. We had a reversal, right? But I think oil is going to be going up. Gas, I don't know. Like, I need to add some alerts here, and that's it. Then have Euro 50. I don't know. Might be looking for longs here. US 100. No. S&P 500. I'm gonna monitor this, but no trade at this point. Okay, US 30. Well, this is a possible long, so let's monitor this. So now we have an orange list, right? And this is the list right here. Whoa, that's big. Way too many. So let's make it a bit smaller. Yeah. So I'm gonna add an alert on that one. Removing this one. AUD CHF. Keeping that one. I'm adding an alert here and here. removing CAD CHF alert here and here. So I'm letting the alerts on TradingView do most of the work here. So I'm removing that one as well. So it's very important to learn how to let the alerts in TradingView do most of your most of the heavy lifting. So if you do a market scan once a week and add alerts, you're gonna let the alerts do the market scanning rest of the week. You get an alert, you check the chart. If it's not an interesting setup, you add new alerts and wait for those alerts to get activated. Check the chart. If there's a setup, you take the setup. If there's no setup, you add new alerts, basically. This one is actually looking pretty good. Euro GBP. Well, no. We get alert here and here. Removing that one. Euro GBP. Looking good. Euro USD. I don't know. I'm just going to keep that one down here. So you see here, I have on my watch list, I have section 1 and section 2. So what I do is the pairs that have a very high probability of giving me a setup in the next few hours or the next day or two, I will be adding those to the number 1 section. Number 2 section is pairs to be monitoring for a move up to the first section, basically. And I always start with section 2 on Sunday, and then Monday morning at the European opening, when the European session opens for trading, I will be adding pairs to the first list. GBCAD, and the idea is to have a small list, as small as possible, because fewer pairs to watch gives me less time to actually work, and gives me there's a higher probability that if I'm taking a trade on any of the pairs in the list, if it's small, it's a higher probability that it's going to be something that I've followed for a while. I know exactly what to look for in the trade. If I have 20 pairs that I'm watching and maybe 10 setups about to form, the chances are high that I'm gonna miss every single one of them, because I'm just gonna be all over the place. So, and that's because that's just the way I am. I have a very hard time focusing on many things at once. So I'd like to have a very clearly defined list. I have very few pairs that I want to be watching throughout the week. It just makes it much more easier for me to focus on the right things and manage the trades and manage the chart and update me on price action. It's much easier, and that is that's a process to understanding that has been a very long process, right? A very long process, and that's part of learning who you are as a person and as a trader, right? So if you're very good at focusing on many things at once and reacting very quickly, well, maybe scalping is for you, or having a very big watch list and trading lower time frames. Maybe that's something you should be focused on, right? But if you're the kind of person who likes to sit back, relax, and look at the bigger picture, maybe you're a slow thinker, maybe you're reacting slower to things, well, obviously you're going to be looking to swing trading. And if having a lot of pairs to watch confuses you and it stresses you out, well, lower that risk. I mean, lower that list. Lower the number of pairs that you're watching. It's going to help you a lot. And a lot of people think that the more you trade, the more money you make. But it's absolutely the other way around. The less I trade, the more money I make. That's something that it's taking me a long time to understand, but it's something that's very, very true in my own trading. In the past, I'm used to taking anywhere between 5 and 10 trades every day. Now I take between 1 and 5 trades every week, and I'm much more profitable now than I was when taking 5 to 10 trades a day. And not only that, taking 5 to 10 trades every day, you have to journal all that, right? So it's going to be a lot of journaling, a lot of statistics gathering, a lot of reviewing, and it's just I have a whiteboard in my office which says focus on high time frame setups. It's less stressful and it's less journaling because journaling every day all the time is not fun. It's not fun. It's very important. It's probably the most important part about trading, but it's not fun. So I'd rather journal once a day or once every other day. And if you do that, it's like it's definitely the quality of quantity, you know. GBP CHF. Yes, I'm gonna keep that on. I'm gonna keep that on. I'm gonna keep this on, and I'm gonna keep this on, and I'm gonna keep alerts on this one, and removing that one, keeping that on. So you now see that my list is much smaller. I'm also adding alerts on the S&P because I don't really care about this one. Same with US30. Right, and you know what? I'm removing Euro USD as well. So I got much fewer pairs, and now it's a final part of the scan where I add arrows basically to kind of, you know what? No, I'm gonna go through my last week's trades, see if I have any notes that would help me and you. Right. So last week, let's see. What's the time here? So I'm going to be looking through the 3rd to the 7th. Yeah, right. So the 3rd to the 7th, which is 5 trades overall. All right. So first one was, so we got 2 losers and 3 winners. So let's look at the first loser, which was Euro GBP. This was a very well. This was a 1%. No, this is Euro CHF. So this was one R loser, 1% loser, right? And so basically, what this idea was based on was this trend, right? It's below the 20, it's below the 50. The trend is bearish. I saw this candle right here. It closed as a 4-hour bearish engulfing. It had a 4-hour stochastic bear cross, and I was looking at the 1 hour and thinking, you know, if this trend is going to continue to the downside, edge wonk. I'm using edge wonk. So if this trend is going to continue to the downside, and if I could get an entry here, I think that would be a pretty good entry for a trade down to that area. So let's see what happens. Right? And then ask yourself, could we have done anything different here? Could we have done anything different? And the answer is yes, we could definitely have done something different here. We could have waited for confirmation, right? But then again, this happens, right? So how could we have, you know, not lost any money on this? And I've gone through over this, and basically my conclusion were that this is just a loser. All right, this is just a losing trade. It's not a bad trade. It's just part of my system, and sometimes I'm gonna lose. And this is just one occasion like that. So this is nothing wrong with this. I've noted in my journal, I've said I actually like this trade, but I think it's just a regular loser. Nothing to see, nothing to improve, just continue doing the same thing because the probability is that the next trade using the system, the probability is going to be a winner, right? So nothing to note on that one. It is a loser, and it's going to accept that sometimes you lose, and that's okay. CAD JPY. This was my next trade where I went long. So where did I go long? I went long. What day is this? Yeah, so I went long here. I went long when we bounced off the 50%. Confident with the 20 EMA. And what I liked about this one was the fact that we hit the level right here. We had if the 4-hour stochastic RSI was below 30. Looking at the 1 hour, the stochastic RSI on the 1 hour was also below 30, and we had some pretty decent bullish price action here, reclaiming the 20 EMA in the 4 hour and the 50% FIB. So what I did was I basically went long here, stops down here, and take profit right below the weekly. Is that a monthly? Yeah, the weekly and monthly open. So this was the trade. Now this is interesting because this was a winner, right? This was a winner, but it's not necessarily a good trade. So I've actually marked this as not according to plan and a bad trade, because I've noticed in the journal when taking this trade, I've written this feels like a revenge trade, but it still kind of makes sense. After the Euro CHF, the trade that I showed you before, after the Euro CHF loser, I really should not trade, but I did anyway. That's the reason for this trade to be a bad trade, even though it's a winner, right? I am not supposed to take trades on the 1 hour, because statistically, when I do, it's most likely to fail because the win rate is much lower than trades taking on the 4 hour. So this would have been better off not taken. Now this is a winner. It made me more profitable this week. So I'm grateful for this to be a winner, but I should not have taken this trade. This is not a good trade, and I need to stop taking trades like this one until I've backtested and perfected this system to enter on the 1 hour, which I haven't. I do not have the statistics to back this up, so I cannot take trades like this. I have to stay true to the system and the idea. So this is a winner, but a bad trade. The other trade before this one was a loser, but a good trade, which kind of might sound weird if you're a beginner trader, but it's very important to remember. The next and the third trade is NCD JPY. NCD JPY, which is this one right here, which I've actually taken on the 15-minute, which I also shouldn't be doing. This is also a bad trade, but it's also one of the reasons why I'm much more profitable this week than I'm usually am. Because it's in an uptrend. It's above the daily 20 and 50 EMA. It's above the daily the 4 hour 20 and 50 EMA. It's breaking market structure on the 15-minute. It's above that trend line. When we had that 15-minute close right there, I put in orders here, and the stop loss is very, very wide. It's a 1.5 hour trade, very wide stop loss, and it worked out very nicely. This is something that I'm going to start doing more often, but I need to backtest this more, right? So I kind of feel like I'm not really consistent. It's not a good idea to start taking trades like this without having statistics to back it up. Remember that I have 6 months of trading data and 6 months of trading data and statistics to back up the idea for taking trades on the 4 hour, right? So it's much different. So winner, but a bad trade. Now let's look at an oil trade here. Yeah, that's this one, right? Now, this was a great trade. This was a really good trade, right? So what I did here was, it's not exactly according to the system, but it almost is, right? So what you have here is you look at the daily and you have this, I don't know, high time frame channel or whatever, and it's reclaiming the daily 20 and 50 EMA. The 4 hour is in an uptrend, and you're seeing a bounce here on the 4 hour 20 EMA, and the stochastics RSI is bottoming out here on the 4 hour and on the 1 hour. So I actually went in on the 1 hour and said, you know, it's highly likely, because the 4 hour candle was going to close in, I think, 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. So I said, it's highly likely that the 4 hour candle is going to close as a 4 hour bullish engulfing, and with a stochastics RSI bull cross on the 4 hour, which is one of my entry triggers. So I basically market entered right here, and TP would be at the slightly below the -618, which also aligns up with the recent highs right here. So that it made sense for a trade. So this was a great trade, and I'm slowly figuring out that I might have to be a little bit quicker on my entries, and I need to start working my way towards the 1 hour shorts. I need to do more back testing and more statistics gathering to actually find some find some better entry strategy on the 1 hour, because it's much more profitable. But I'm like, so that's one of my key takeaways from this week, basically. And that's what I have to work on next week. I need to start looking at the 1 hour and start to figure out, is there a way to get in a little bit earlier, a little bit lower, with a little bit tighter stop loss, right? That's it, guys. That's it for me today. Let's have one question here. Where do you trade Forex? I trade Forex using crypto on Prime XBT. Is it very important for you to see confidence on both the 4 hour and 1 hour? Well, no, it's not very important. But like I said, I have not really gone through the confluences and the statistics gathering on the 1 hour that much. So I'm not really sure if that's needed. I think it's much better to have the 4 hour and the 1 hour stochastics RSI to be confluent. But I can't really say that for sure, because I don't have the statistics to back that up. But I would say, without having that statistics, yes, it would be better to have a confluence. All right, guys, I got some stuff I need to do before heading to bed. So I will see you guys tomorrow when I have a private webinar for the Birb member, where we will basically continue this where we left off. All right, guys, take care, and see you guys next time. Take care.